Okay, so welcome back. I hope you all had a great time while networking. Let's move on to our next presentation. We have with us Luis Alberto Barberini, who's working in the supply chain, logistics, and cold chain at Bayer. So he will be giving his presentation on the topic Bayer's governance model in troubled days. So, uh, okay, so Luis, the stage is all yours now.
Okay, can you hear me fine? Yeah. So okay. Good morning. Good. Sorry, there's some. I'm hearing something here. Yeah. Now I think I'm okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and to present something related to what Bayer is doing related to managing our suppliers and managing our relationships. So today I'll be just going through these topics here, managing long-term supply, and mainly talking about some of the issues we got through with this COVID situation, right? I'll go through some concepts that keep a solid relationship in place, how to build a resilient and engaged team, and talk some predictions and some ideas for the future, and also give you some takeaways and tips that can be implemented to improve relationships, right? But my main target here today is try to share our experience, targeted to make your life easier. Okay. So I've worked on this several companies within the last 30 years. Most of them are pharmaceutical companies, but we also have British American Tobacco. We have other companies like Ford Motors and Rhône Poulain, which is a chemical one, right? And in different areas like logistics, manufacturing, procurement, cold chain distribution, and so, right? So we'll go through these topics right here. I'd like to mention some concepts on relationships and resilient engaged teams, increased service level, and how to get aligned with all of that. So just let's start with some relationship concepts that we do believe at Bayer that are very important for us. I would say that today I'm feeling something like this, and you probably are feeling something like this as well. You name it. Okay. We are feeling today afraid, incapable, hesitant, confused, afflicted, depressed. This situation has come from the COVID situation that we faced in the last in the last month or last year, right? So it's very difficult to continue working in our regular process when you have something like this, right? We all know that we live in a complex world with volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And most of you probably have heard something about the VUCA word, right? Well, I really miss that time. So today we are living this clumsily, outlastly, with high volatility, indecisive, and deadly world. We moved from the VUCA world to the COVID one, right? And it's very difficult to keep moving forward in a situation so extreme and so uncertain like this. Okay. So that's why we have to rely on our relationships, on our partnerships, and our suppliers to move forward. Bayer has faced a very good result in the last year with no shortages and no product loss of supply. I mean, our suppliers worked very well. So probably it's related to the fact that we follow this very first commandment. The partner must share customers' focus. And here is something that I like to mention in a little deeper, right? when we talk about customers focus, we're talking something like this. In this picture, you have two people. They have different perspectives. One can see three things, the other one four things, 3 bars, 4 bars. And here starts the point. We have two topics like the focus on the customer and the customer's focus. What do you have with your customer today? Do you focus on your customer or do you share your customer's focus? Things are very different. Okay. When you focus on the customer, you want to fulfill the customer's needs for products and services. This is very clear. This is very easy to go. And when one company shares their customers' focus, they share the customer's vision as well, or even better than themselves, meaning they have the same vision. This is very important. Okay, let me illustrate like this. When you're hungry and you want something to eat, you might go to a fast food restaurant. They will fulfill your needs. That's perfect. That's good, right? They are focusing on the customer. But if you go to a nice restaurant, the chef will share your focus. He knows what you want. He will cook something different for you, right? So this is very important. And many companies today looks for innovation, and we must be very cautious on that. The innovation happens here when someone shares your focus, right? So this is very important to get to know. We do believe that everything starts right here. And when outsourcing something, kind of Bayer, this is from 2018. Bayer contemplating outsourcing R&D. When a pharmaceutical company starts to think on outsource their R&D, their core business, the thing that really makes a pharmaceutical company different. Wow, we have taken a very huge step forward in terms of outsourcing, right? And we can only do that with some companies that we will share the same vision that we have. Okay, so that's why it's so important. And in terms of relationship at this point, we have three main topics, main insights here. The first one is the high tech versus high touch. We work in a very high tech world right now, but we must remember to keep the high touch, meaning the contact between people, the contact between companies, the feeling of behavior to something, right? So it's a very important insight here. Please keep the high tech and high touch very well balanced. The other point that we think is very important on the relationship is the intangible relationship. When you have a relationship with your supplier or with your customer, you will deliver your goods, you get some payment back and things. But there are things that are intangible. I mean, the way you do business, right? The way someone prefers to make business with you rather than with someone else, right? So it's very important to keep this insight on your mind. And also, when having a relationship with your supplier or customer, play jazz. You have to, you need to have a plot, but you have to make some improvisation. You need to follow that plot, but you have to do something different based on the situation that you're living. So today we have a plot with our suppliers, but COVID forced us to do many improvisations. Okay, so these are important points to keep in mind. Moving forward to some speech on resilience. We all know something about this. Resilience, it's an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And I think that from the many words I've heard during the last year, resilience just popped up most frequently, or I can easily say that companies are targeting to resilience. In order to be resilient, please keep calm and have plans. Okay, You don't need to get into despair, but keep calm and make contingency and mitigation risk plans. This is what moved us, kept us moving forward, right? We had some plans. We had a mitigation plan. In terms of situations like a pandemic scenario, we had something like this: different phases in which we could measure how our suppliers are doing, right? With a description, is it a normal play operation or not, right? And some of the features that we can see in each of them, right? So we had this mitigation plan in place. So based on that, we could check for our different suppliers, and this is just a picture for a few suppliers in North America, how they were facing the situation, and we could spend more efforts in those suppliers that are closer to the red zone here, right? So we could understand that these ones are risky, these ones are more complex. So we could be able to track down what to do and who to focus at, right? So this is the point. Keep calm, but have your plans, right? In the same sense, we are talking here on the resilience. Many companies are talking about the digital transformation, and we are going digital. This is a very interesting point. I really like to mention this during my speeches, right? Uh, so in this picture, you have what they thought would be a personal computer or a home computer by 2004. This picture is from 1954, right? So they were very precise on the concept, but technology was rather different. So you can see the keyboard, you can see the monitor, you can see different things. But you know, predicting is neither easy nor simple. No one could predict the kind of technology that we would have, right? So it's important to make clear what are we talking about when we talk about digitization. Okay, digitization, is it a recent concept? Um, Many companies are say, okay, I have to digitalize my operations. I have to do it right now. Mm, it's not such a recent concept. I would say that companies like this are late, right? When we first start talking about digitization, the Soviet Union had their very first atomic bomb. The NATO has been established. We have the very first color TV from RCA. This is a very long time ago, right? So, in fact, when we started talking about going digital with this equipment here, okay. So, probably a few of you have heard about this or know what I'm talking about, but this is where everything started in terms of going digital. I mean, moving information from analog to digital way. What is this? This is the IBM O26 printing card punch, introduced in July 1949. So it's about 70 years that we're talking about digitization and going digital. So if you still have doubt about going digital, you have to go. You need to move. And probably you are already much more digital than you would think. Okay? But there's a very important point here. We can go digital, we can use some equipment, we can go to technology, but you have to take care of some points. One of that is like Bayer did. We have to consider this one into your strategy. This is our strategy house, right? With four pillars: people and culture, customer and consumer value, customer and consumer trust, and competitiveness. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I'm sorry, in the middle of this, you can check for different approaches. And I would say three approaches are very important, and it's a must-have situation. The product supply system, an internal process for that. to digitalize operations, and to network optimization. So if you're thinking about going digital, you have to consider this into your strategy, right? Like we have here, right? And close to the digital operations, we have our network optimization. We work together with these two points right here. I need to have a very good network and digitalize my operations, right? And also, just to close this topic, I mean, going digital, it means that the team can't be like this. It's not the fact that you are going digital, but you need to take care of your team. Okay. When navigating on the 4.0C, this is your sailor. Okay. Probably a few of you remember this picture from Charles Chaplin's movie, the Modern Times. What happens? This guy just got crazy when technology at that time reached its maximum. So please take care of the people that you're having in your organization, right? We know that to navigate in the 4.0, the supply chain will be smart, will be connected, will be agile, and in a continuous learning process. These are just a few topics that we'd like to reinforce on that. But please take care of your sailors, okay? Moving to the next chapter, we'd like to mention the increased service level discussions. We simply thought that to manage business and relationships, we have to go with transparency, honesty, and sincere collaboration. This is what really makes a supplier a very good one to work with. It really helps in getting full engagement, right? And to talk about that, I have many concepts. We have many topics that we use to go through, but I would like to reinforce these two ones. Okay, two factors that are very important. The first one is bacon and eggs. Probably a few of you have heard about this before, or just got to know about this. But what is this about? In a very simple way, in the breakfast, when you ask for bacon and eggs, okay, the chicken is involved, but the pork is committed, right? So this is an analogy that we can go through when talking with our CMOs. What kind of CMO do you want? You want someone that's involved or someone that's really committed? Okay, so please try to look for really committed suppliers. Try to look for those ones that share your vision, okay, that share your focus. This is why I've mentioned that in my very early talk, okay. It's important to have someone that really shares the business with you, okay. The second one here is something that we do like to talk. It's paddleball. You know, I'm based in São Paulo, in Brazil, and here we have many beaches. We do like to spend our Sundays in the beach or so. And there's something that we really like to do. It's to play paddleball by the beach. Very fun game, very nice to have. And what is this about? It's about keeping the ball in the air, right? So it's different from tennis when you want to beat your adversary. Here we want to keep playing balls and keep the balls in the air, right? And in order to do that, you have to send good balls to your partner, right? And the odds are that you get good balls back to you. And this, you keep playing and playing all day long. The point here is that you have to do your best to give them a good ball, so you can continue playing. It's the same when related to our suppliers. You have to give them good balls so they can give good balls back. And many companies, they don't do that like that. They don't send good balls. They just say, okay, it's not my problem, it's my supplier's problem. No, it's your problem, right? So you do need to continue playing paddleball with your suppliers, right? So I do hope that I could transmit to you the concept, the very easy concepts on how do we manage our suppliers, right? Another very important point here is from Simon Sinek. I do like Simon Sinek's comments, but 100% of customers are people. 100% of employers are people. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. So you have to build up your relationships with your suppliers or with your customers. This is people to people. You have to keep. You need to keep moving forward, but looking on people and taking this into consideration, right? Just just finishing my presentation and trying to get aligned with some points, right? My final comments and so. So these are the valued behaviors that we have at Bayer: the customer focus, experimentation, collaboration, and trust. So today I didn't mention too much on experimentation or I would say trust, but we can go through those ones in another opportunity, right? But these are the valued behaviors that we have in our relationships. Besides that, some tips from what we have at Bayer. First, create a mutual definition to map the current situation. So you have to you need to have your mitigation risk planning in place, right? And with mutual definitions on what you're facing. Keep internal teams fully aligned. Keep people aligned. Keep people informed with honesty, collaboration, right? And keep them on the same page. Keep the commitment, share your data, and send good balls. Play paddleball with your partners. There's a very interesting example. A few years ago, I used it to invite my suppliers to our SNOP meetings, and people said, "Hey, are you crazy? You're inviting them to our meeting?" Yes, I'm doing that. So my third PL can be prepared to face the same issues we will face in the future. So they have the information 3-4 months in advance and can be better prepared to help us, right? So give good balls. And please remember, on the fourth here, we are all people. We are facing the same risks. We are facing the same situations. Companies are facing the same COVID situation, right? So please remember that we are in the same game here, okay? So just closing my presentation, I think that this is the main message that I like to send you, right? There are 2 rules for the success. Never tell anything you know, right? So that's why I hope to meet you next year in person and with no COVID to bother us, right? So thank you very much. There's just one point. This is QR code. Please scan it with your mobile phone, right? It will take you into a feedback session, very, very quick one. And we do like to hear from you about this presentation, about the topics that we went through, right? And how are you feeling about this topic? Just 4 simple questions for you, right? So thank you very much. Here's my email. I'm also on the LinkedIn, and I'm glad to hear from you and to have contact with you, and we can keep talking. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Luiz. Simon Sinek is one of my favorite too. So, really interesting examples and the way you connected them with the supplier and company relationship. I think that was amazing. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you.
Okay, thank you.
So if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and ask them in the main chat area. Luiz is with us, and he's going to answer your questions. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to our next session, we have our next speaker is Gopal Chaudhary, who's working as the Chief of Security and Brand Protection at Tata Steel. The topic of his presentation is the testing the adoption of tagging and tracing system for the steel manufacturing industry.